some of the people privately. Tina, there was no slight to Jack Wilson. I don't want anybody to go out to social media and say that. Jack completely understands this. I worked with Tina long and hard, and this was a special thing for me to be sworn in by Tina. And I think the world of Jack, and I look forward to working with you, and you understand that. So, thank you, Tina, for everything you've done. I'm honored to take the oath of office with you. I'd also like to express my appreciation to the following. I gotta watch it with the P's, they're coming out hard. Superintendent Brandy Kwong and Cheryl Mancini and the staff of the Methuen High School, who did a great job here helping us get this organized so quickly. To Ben Woodward, our pianist, and the Methuen High School Choir, who did an outstanding job at the beginning. To the members of the Methuen High School Chorus, and to Hannah Youssef, who I think you'll agree with me was worth waiting for. I have a good friend who says, in Sicily, time does not matter. All right. To Pastor Abraham, to former City Councilor Ryan Hamilton, who is the MC, if you will, to my cousins, Brendan and William, who did an outstanding job doing the Pledge of Allegiance. To City Clerk Jack Wilson, to the color guards from the Police and Fire Department, outstanding job, very proud. To the staff and volunteers of MCTV and the Methuen School Systems, and to Tripoli Bakery and the Party Connection. Thank you to all of you. I'd also like to acknowledge all the elected officials that Ryan did me the huge favor of introducing beforehand, so I wouldn't have to stumble for their names. I appreciate all of you, current and present legislators, for joining me. This is a momentous occasion for me personally, and I hope for our city as well. And I want you to look back on this in 2 years and say, this was a moment that changed things. Finally, I'd like to mention the most important people in my life, my family. My mother and brother, who will be watching the tape. My mother's in the hospital, can't be here tonight. And my 4 children sitting in the front row. I can get you to stand. My grandmother told me that if you can walk down the streets of your hometown and not hang your head in shame after you've had children, then you've done a good job. So, good job. So what a wonderful night this is. I am completely over the moon excited. You may not be able to pick up on that because I'm a little anxious. I'll probably have a panic attack while I'm standing here at the microphone, but that's okay. I'm excited. I'm eager to get to work, but I'm also very realistic. I know that 71% of Methuen voters aren't in love with Neil Perry. 71% of the voters, as I've told everyone since the election, are looking for change in the city. They're looking for positivity. And so to my colleagues behind me that I'll be working with, our city voted for change. The new mayor, new councilors, and I believe for a more positive and constructive local government. And that's the message I heard, and that's what we're going to give you. As most of you know, I've completed a very fulfilling career after 38 years at Raytheon. I was part of a company that had a clear purpose and high standards. We all work towards mutual goals and for the benefit of our customers, our shareholders, and for one another. And I'm thrilled to have some of my coworkers here in the audience. As I reflect on my career at Raytheon, I left December 19th for the last time. I couldn't help but think that maybe this experience, leading this city, this new chapter in my life, shouldn't really be all that different than what I've experienced at Raytheon. As I stand here tonight with all my colleagues behind me, I can't help but hope that we too will work together to establish and achieve mutual goals. I hope our intentions will be pure, and I hope our communication will be honest and straightforward. While we don't call you shareholders, we are 100% responsible for delivering the best results to every citizen in this city. As we start this journey tonight, I hope that we're all committed to working together with mutual respect and with a shared desire to achieve the change our neighbors told us they expect. Since the election, I've spoken with every member of the new city council personally, except Nick DeZoglu. I did that by phone, and we will catch up personally. And I've asked for their support when they think I'm right, and I've encouraged them to vote against my ideas when they think I'm wrong. And I say that because I believe in the executive and legislative process. And when it works correctly, It works perfectly. We won't always agree, that's for sure. In fact, we shouldn't always agree in my mind. Honest and respectful debate, based on facts and genuine differences of opinions, will make the end results of our work better. In diversity, there is strength. That should be our goal. Past political agendas and loyalties should be checked at the door. Tonight, just as I've reached out to these city councils, I'm reaching out to every resident in the city. Whether you're here in this audience, you're watching on television, or you're watching on tape delay, I'm inviting each of you to become a part of this effort to make our city government more positive, more constructive, and more responsive to the needs of every resident. Pay attention to what we're doing. Come to the meetings or watch them on television, and don't hesitate to get involved. This is a new beginning, and the people of our city deserve the very best efforts. And just as I gave my all to corporate responsibilities for nearly 40 years, I can stand here and pledge to you that I will give every ounce of energy I have to achieving the goals we have for all of Methuen. During my campaign, I frequently spoke about integrity, leadership, and vision. Those were more than words to me. They were more than a campaign slogan. My personal integrity means everything to me. In fact, these councils I've spoken to can tell you that I've said you can criticize the hair, you can criticize the clothes, you can criticize the ideas, but the integrity is not for sale. It's everything to me. It's the legacy I received from my parents, and it's the most important thing I leave my children. I want my children to be proud to live in this city, and that's why I'm doing this. I encourage you to challenge my ideas, and challenge them respectfully, and that will make them better. But I will never do anything that will make you question my integrity. When it comes to leadership, I want you to know I'm not afraid to make hard decisions, and I'm not afraid to lead this community. And I'm not afraid to lead it in the direction that I feel is the best for everyone. I promise to work with everyone, including those who may disagree with me most, to achieve the very best for our city, for our school system, for our community, for our businesses, and for every family that calls Methuen home. And that's exactly what I plan to do. As a candidate, I laid out a vision for our city. That vision was just the beginning. Over the course of the last few weeks, I've been meeting with elected officials, department heads, the diverse transition committees we established from throughout the community, and with countless citizens to discuss expanding that vision for our city. I plan to shape all that input into a plan that I look forward to sharing with each and every one of you. We will be transparent, and we will look for constant feedback. As a private sector executive, I'm very accustomed to setting specific goals and being held accountable for the results. And the government should probably do more of both. This government will. Every one of us on this stage applied for a job last year, and every one of us should be held accountable for how we perform over the next 2 years. Sadly though, in some ways, to me, Methuen has become a microcosm for the division and negativity that seems to have taken our country. People's intentions are questioned before their ideas are even understood. If someone disagrees, they're personally attacked. You may not always agree with my vision for our community, just as I may not always agree with yours. However, I hope we'll all listen to each other. I hope we'll all try to understand where each of us is coming from. And I hope we'll all respect the fact that we're all trying to do the very best for our community. As I embark on this new chapter in my life, I want to focus on 3 quick themes this evening: community pride, facts and data, and action and results. Don't worry, although I could speak on each one of these themes for a long time, tonight I want to share some simple thoughts and examples of what I'm talking about. Community pride sounds so simple, but I think it warrants some real discussion. I believe that every person who lives in the city wants to be proud of where they live. While that likely may mean different things to different people, the overarching goal should always be on the mind of those of us who are responsible for leading this community. Allow me to share a few things I think will impact how we measure our personal pride in our community. First, the city should be clean and pleasant to drive around in. It starts with clean streets, well-kept public buildings and common spaces, and perhaps more flowers and beautiful trees. Our parks and recreation facilities should be well-managed, open, safe and friendly places for the community to enjoy. The city should be governed by men and women who treat each other with respect. City council meetings, even when there's disagreement, should look like a gathering of professionals who are generally working towards a common goal. Our schools should be places of learning and community engagement, places where administrators, teachers, parents, and students are all working for excellence, inclusion, and achievement. Municipal and school finances should be well managed. Every expenditure, including every contract, should be transparent and understandable. Our communications, including our website and our social media, should be user-friendly and informative. We should respect our history. We should preserve the legacy of our treasures left to us by the likes of Searles, Tenney, and Nevins. The uniqueness of our city, with its granite walls and majestic buildings, is an asset we should protect and highlight. And every interaction between our citizens and our public officials, and everyone who works for us, should be professional, helpful, and service-oriented. Achieving these things and more will contribute to genuine community pride. It's simple, and yet it's also complex. Some of these are easy, and others are a lot tougher. Some of these can happen quickly, and others will take more time and greater resources. Together, we need to instill a genuine sense of community pride throughout the city. But building community isn't just about what our government can do. It's really about what we all can do. Once again, I'd like to invite you to do your part. We all know that the difference between a house and a home is measured by the people who live in it. I don't think a city is all that different. Making our city a true community requires everyone to get involved, to become invested in some way. The city has a number of volunteer boards and commissions, and we're planning to update our recruiting efforts, and I assure you, if you're interested, you'll be seriously considered. As a candidate, I had an opportunity to see a number of groups and individuals who are doing their part to help build a community that we can all be proud of. While there are numerous examples, let me point out a few. When I visited Methuen Village, I had the honor of meeting a lovely woman named Teresa Skorupka. Teresa is 96 years old and is a World War II veteran. She got married in 1945 and was married for 60 years. As I listened to her stories from World War II, I became enthralled in her personal journey from her experience as a young woman in World War II to her life today at 96 years young. I'm honored to have met Teresa and to have her here as my guest this evening. Teresa, can I ask you to stand? It's an outstanding organization, primarily young people, who have dedicated themselves to helping the less fortunate in our community. The work of these young people, especially the mission to feed and support those who are homeless and addicted, is truly inspiring. It inspired me. I've served with Michael 3 times, and I plan on doing a lot more, and I hope you'll join me. Please join me in welcoming Michael Gorman. In 2007, 3 adopted children, 2 of whom are Linda's daughters Maxine and Talia, started Debbie's Treasure Chest by collecting toys for foster children. What started as a small project in their garage has grown over the years, and under Linda's guidance is now a major nonprofit organization, providing clothing and school supplies to thousands of people at over 7 locations, in addition to running drives for coats, school uniforms, and holiday toys. Her dedication to the Methuen community and to those in need throughout the Merrimack Valley is undeniable. Please join me in recognizing Linda Harvey. yet powerful examples of the fact that while government certainly needs to do its part, and we will, each of us can play a role in making Methuen the very best it can be. During the campaign, I became known as the fact and data candidate. I joke today because I said it 2,000 times. I thought I'd take a moment to share what that means to me. But first, let me tell you what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that I'm not passionate. If you don't believe that, just ask my children. I have passion for many causes. But I see that in those, such as the 3 individuals I introduced, as the folks at Man Inc., who are fighting to prevent drug and gang activity in their neighborhoods in the city. I see it in those who give their time and personal resources to feed the homeless and disadvantaged. I see it in those who work so hard to clean and preserve the beauty and sustainability of the Merrimack River. And I see it in parents and volunteers who work tirelessly to maintain first-class athletic programs for our young people. These are but a few examples. But I'm passionate about a lot of things. And even though I am, I don't plan to make any decisions based on emotions. It's readily apparent to me, however, and I hope to all of you, that in the past we've made far too many decisions based on emotion, political relationships, and way too little information. In addition, our civil discourse, as sadly illustrated by Facebook, is often riddled with innuendo, baseless or at best incomplete statements of fact, and unnecessary and hurtful personal attacks. That type of dialogue plainly fails to contribute in any way to the betterment of our community or to the quality of our deliberations and decision-making. So I'm going to try something different, and I ask you to come with me. I'm going to present my ideas based on facts. I'm going to share those facts and any related data with the City Council, the school committee, and with the public. I'll defend my understanding of those facts when I'm correct, and I'll readily concede when I might be wrong. But in the short term, let me share some areas where I think we need to work together based on facts and data. We're a $160+ million business that's currently trying to function without leadership in several critical areas of our government. Just to name a few, we have no human resource director, no permanent public work director, no city engineer, no health director, and no information technology leadership. While I'm certainly not interested in building an unnecessary bureaucracy, my management experience tells me we have some critical deficiencies that are limiting our ability to properly manage our workforce and serve the needs of our people. The greatest financial risk to our city is an unresolved police contract, and we can't even all agree on the basic numbers that would help us consider the actual impact financially of that agreement or its long-term risk to our financial sustainability. I look forward to finding common ground on these facts, and I'm anxious to have our legal team fully brief the City Council on the status of this challenge. We must find a solution to this problem if we're going to move forward, and I pledge to do everything in my power to do so. I've called for the creation of a budget and revenue task force so that we consider the financial goals and objectives of our community over at least a 3-year period. In addition to building a budget for the next fiscal year, I look forward to establishing a process that will look at our financial picture over a more prudent and forward-looking time horizon. And as I've already alluded to, one of the things I hear a lot about is the poor condition of our city, the cleanliness of our streets, the condition of our public buildings, and the status of our parks and recreation facilities, and I couldn't agree more. And we will get to work on that immediately. In each of these instances, and many more, we need to evaluate the facts, establish some clear goals, and work to invest in making the kind of decision responsible management of a $160+ million business deserves and requires. Finally, I want to share a few thoughts about actions and results. From my perspective, the best example of this is the center of the city. Over the years, we've invested financial and human resources to produce countless studies and assessments of our downtown. As a community, we received countless recommendations. We've raised the hopes of our businesses only to disappoint them with inaction. We have files and bookcases of what I assume are good ideas, creative approaches, and more than one vision for the needs of our community. I want to make Methuen a destination. I'm not ready to give up on it. A place people want to invest in. A place business wants to grow in and people to move to. In the words of one of our transition team members, we need to make Methuen cool again. Personally, I don't want to spend more time and resources writing reports and studies that don't produce meaningful and actionable results. I want to support the efforts of our community and economic development development team to move Methuen forward. In that regard, I've said I want to recruit first-class business, such as Wegmans or Trader Joe's, to open in our city. As we look to the future of the Loop and other areas of the city, I want us to think big, and I want us to be aggressive. We may or may not succeed in all of these recruitment efforts, but I'm going to do everything in my power, and I'm asking you to do everything in your power to help make that happen. Because, by the way, you play an important role in helping us advance this goal. If you agree with me that Methuen is ready for a Wegmans or a Trader Joe's, visit their websites and tell them. Instead of going to Facebook, go to their sites and tell them, we could use you here in Methuen. If you believe Dave & Buster's would be better, go tell them. We want them to know that our community is ready and willing to support them. I want to make Methuen business friendly because we need to expand our commercial tax base. My message is clear. Methuen is open for business. I promise a city government that will be responsive, friendly, and efficient. We will be a responsible partner with anyone who will provide benefit to our city and to our residents. To support this effort, I plan to invite our business community to come together for regular communication with me and with one another and with our city officials. I'm excited for this engagement, and I look forward to working to produce results that strengthen the economic future of our city. Let me wrap up with this thought. Methuen is a very different place than it was in 1979 when I started my first job as a bilingual teacher at the Polish school. I walked into that classroom with limitless energy, enthusiasm, and hope for myself and for my students. It may sound corny, but I loved Methuen then, and I love Methuen today. And that's exactly why this very morning, at a time in my life when I should be kicking back and starting to enjoy my retirement, I walked into City Hall. I took the oath of office with the same energy, enthusiasm, and hope that I did on that day so long ago. So, come with me. Let's work together, let's respect one another, and let's be honest with one another. Most importantly, let's make every person proud to call Methuen home. Thank you very, very much. I'm thrilled to be here.